Scallops are one of the most prized seafoods out there, and I love cooking them at home. These days you can get many different varieties. For this recipe you're going to want really big plump ones just like this. So this is a very French way of cooking them, serving them with a vermouth and cream sauce and then baking them in the shell. This is definitely showstopper style food. So before we get onto the scallops, because they are very delicate, you don't want to overcook them, we'll get on with our sauce. So we'll pop our shallots into a pot. I've just got that on a medium to high heat. And to this, I'm going to add some vermouth. So you don't need to fry off your shallots at all. We're just making a reduction. Vermouth, like a Neuilly Prat, there are many different varieties on the market. It's a fortified wine. It's got botanicals in it, so it's beautifully perfumed. We'll pour that in. And we're just going to let that reduce and bubble away. If you can't find vermouth, you could absolutely use white wine for this. It works just as well. So we'll bring that to the boil, and in the meantime we'll prepare our scallops. So I don't like to oil the pan for this. This is always just sealing them off. We're not cooking them at this stage, so just a searing to get some caramelization onto our scallops. So olive oil along with a good pinch of salt, and then we'll just turn them so they're all lightly covered in a film of extra virgin olive oil. Hot pan, and we'll add our scallops. You can hear that sizzle. That's a good sign. So they're going to take about, I want to say 20 seconds max on each side, not even. So while they're cooking away, you can see that this has reduced a lot, and we're just left with softened shallots and a little bit of that vermouth. To make sure we've got a lot of sauce, because we do have quite a lot of scallops, going to add some stock. I'm just adding some chicken stock. And again, on that high heat, we're just going to let that bubble away and reduce quite a lot. And it's time to turn the scallops. Oh, that's what we're after. See that nice crust? Fantastic. So by the time I turn these over, we're ready to take them out. So I want them to still be raw in the centre. Now, this is totally optional. You can just do this in a small baking dish or a gratin dish, but if you can get your hands on some scallop shells, a lot of scallops these days will come in their shell itself, but if not, you can buy them at your fishmonger. So I've just placed them into a pan with rock salt down the bottom. The rock salt's there just to hold them in place so the sauce doesn't dribble away. So we'll take these scallops out, one scallop per shell. And if you like and you want to make it a little heartier, you could add a little sautéed spinach at the base of this. That would be delicious, or some cream corn is another option. But I want this to be almost like an entree or a little sort of starter to pass around. All right, back to our sauce here. This is reduced a lot. I'm really, really happy with this. So we'll add some cream. And we're just going to mix that in and just let that thicken up for a moment while I prepare the butter. So cold butter, and we don't want to add big chunks of butter to this. We want cubes. So we'll just cut that. You want to do this at the last minute so it stays really cold. We want it to be cold because if this is room temperature, it'll melt too quickly in the sauce. We want to agitate the pan so we get that glossiness and so it doesn't split. So cold butter into cubes. That's looking good. And little by little, we'll whisk it in. So I'll turn the heat down. See, we've got just a gentle boil there. That's what we're after. We'll start with 2 knobs of butter. With a whisk, we're going to whisk that in. And as soon as it starts to dissolve, we'll add another few knobs of butter and keep whisking it in with that controlled heat until it's slightly thickened and very glossy. All right, this gorgeous sauce is ready to go. So we're going to just add a spoonful to each scallop. And you can see I'm drowning it in this yummy, buttery, creamy vermouth sauce. Absolutely one of my favourite ways to serve scallops. These go under the grill and they're going to cook for about 5 minutes or until they're golden, but no more than 5 minutes because we don't want to overcook the scallops. Well, I'm so happy with the way that these scallops have turned out. See how they're lightly charred? The sauce has set, it's just right. They are piping hot. And I'm going to serve it in this dish. They look fantastic. To finish it off, a little pepper. Now, I'm using pink peppercorns that have been brined. They're milder in flavour. They've got slight sweet notes, so they're not going to overpower the scallops. So into a mortar and pestle. This is totally optional. And we're going to crush them. So you can see that's crushed. And then we're just going to lightly scatter that pepper over our scallops. It's just a slight gesture. Wow, that is beautiful. If you like maybe some chives or some chervil for a pop of green, but that's all you need. I'm gonna have a taste of one of these. 1 spoonful, get the sauce in there. This is the most delightful way of serving scallops. And you see all that gorgeous sauce in there? Don't waste it. Drink it up like a soup. Oh, amazing.